Hi everyone, this is Jason from Stampin Up, and I'm here with your 5 questions video about the Product Idea Sandbox. The first question is, what is the Product Idea Sandbox?
The Product Idea Sandbox, or the Sandbox as we call it, is a place where demonstrators can share product ideas, product suggestions, and product concerns. It's located on the demonstrator website under Business Resources. Now, you might be wondering when it's best to use the Product Idea Sandbox and when it's better to call demonstrator support. The Product Idea Sandbox is the best place to share product suggestions and ideas. If something requires immediate attention or action, it's better to contact demonstrator support.
The second question is, how does the Product Idea Sandbox work?
We have a product coordinator who monitors the sandbox. Each week, she goes through and reads every comment that has come in since the previous week. On average, we receive about 100 submissions per week. Around catalog launches, it gets even busier, and that number goes up to as many as 200 per week. When you submit a suggestion to the sandbox, you are asked to assign it to a product category. Our product coordinator then compiles and sorts the feedback by category, and then sends the entire spreadsheet of suggestions to about 50 stakeholders across the company. These stakeholders use the information as it relates to their area of expertise. For example, the product strategy group looks at requests for specific products or stamp set themes as they develop the strategy for upcoming product releases. In addition to organizing and passing your suggestions on to the right people, our product coordinator meets with me bi-weekly to discuss the feedback we have received through the sandbox. The two of us then create a list of topics that require attention. For example, we may need to communicate something to demonstrators about a product, or we may need to conduct a quality review on a product.
The third question is, how do you handle product complaints?
Quality complaints are referred immediately to our quality team for review. The quality team will test the product and work with vendors to correct any problems. Some product issues easily resolved. Others take longer. For example, if our original vendor is unable to correct a quality issue, we may have to switch vendors. That requires finding a facility who can produce the product, working through contractual issues, building a new mold, approving samples, and going into production. On occasion, during our review, we find that a product doesn't actually have quality issues, but simply requires additional training or instructions for users to have a good experience.
The fourth question is, will you let me know if you are considering my idea or decide to implement it?
The volume of submissions we receive doesn't allow us to respond to each individual suggestion. We gather feedback through a variety of sources, including the sandbox, events, surveys, focus groups, and demonstrator support. Rarely does an idea come from a single demonstrator or from a single source. On occasion, we receive a suggestion that requires additional information from the demonstrator who submitted it, but most of the time we do not respond.
And the last question is, how does Stampin' Up! Decide which suggestions to implement?
We determine which product ideas come to fruition based on a variety of factors. We definitely look at your product suggestions, I look at them every week, and take into account how many requests we get for each product. We also look at what's trending in the industry, the cost of production, and how the product fits in our global markets. We also weigh product ideas against each other as we decide where to allocate resources. We look at the product in relation to our current product offering, how it fits, and what holes it might fill. And we also look at comparable items and how they've sold in the past. We often get suggestions for products we are already working on. This is further confirmation to us that the products we are developing are products that you want. Some of our recent products that have come from Sandbox ideas or suggestions are Thick Whisper White Cardstock, the Coffee Break Suite, Stampin' Blends, and many more ideas that we already have in the works.
Thanks for joining us for this 5 questions video, and we'll see you next time.